We shot literally every single bow we could get our hands on at the 2023 ATA show, and we're going to give you our opinions on them. I'm here with David with Hiking from a Viking. And
Hiking from a Viking? What's hiking with a Viking?
It's Hiking with a Viking.
I think it's
David from Hiking with a Viking. And my good buddy Dylan, you've seen him in some of my other hunting videos. Let's, I'll tell you what, Dylan, you get to start on this one, on that carbon one.
Smoother draw cycle than I expected. I thought the bow was very unstable. You know, when you set an anchor, it does this in your hand, and I don't like that at all. Hand shock, I felt that also. As I was shooting the bow. What do I got else here? Yeah, I mean, unless BOWTECH made some drastic changes, I don't see myself shooting a BOWTECH anytime soon. So I mean, overall, I think I'm gonna give them 2 out of 10, probably, and I think that's honestly being nice.
Mr. Viking.
Well, I don't know why a carbon bow needs to weigh 5 pounds.
4.5. Forgot about that. Yeah.
It was, again, unstable in the hand. Again, we shot this bow at 60 pounds. We did that to, or actually, I think that one was that 65?
65.
65
pounds, yeah.
The draw cycle was very nice for 65 pounds. I will give that to BOWTECH. They definitely had that part figured out. Back wall was okay. It took me a while to get the bow centered in my hand. It kept wanting to lean and rock and just roll away from me. I'm trying to just, I didn't like it at all. It's not a bow I would recommend. I'm in a hard place right now for this. I didn't want to do this, but they had potential to really do something phenomenal. The only advantage to carbon on this bow is that it doesn't get as cold as fast in your hand in the elements. Other than that, I don't see a reason for this carbon bow. So I'm going to say a 2 out of 10 just because it had a super nice draw cycle.
Yeah. My note's almost, I mean, it's almost a mimic. For 65 pounds, it drew like a much lower bow, like a 55-pound bow. The draw cycle shocked the crap out of me. I shot a REVEX last year. I loved that bow. It did have a little bit stiffer draw cycle, but the bow was great. You know, this bow had a really nice draw cycle. Rolls over smooth. There's no super jump into the valley or dump into the valley. The back wall, not awful, not amazing. It's middle, and that's okay. When I shot the bow, it's like holding a tuning fork. There was a ton of vibration, and this is from a guy who doesn't give a crap about vibration. Like, it's enough that I was like, wow, that's not comfortable.
No, it was a little snappy. Right, a little bit snappy.
At full draw, there was no stability. The bow was doing a whole lot of this. You know, some of the other bows we shot today, when I would hit full draw, they just settled into my hand. I mean, they just settled. This, I felt like I could torque it really easily. I felt a lot of sway. It didn't point well for me. It's just not a good bow in my opinion. I mean, the 4.5-pound carbon bow thing bothers the crap out of me, but even at that point, the shooting of the bow was awful. I did not enjoy it. I would not enjoy it. I can never see myself owning that particular bow. I'm gonna go, yeah, 2 out of 10. The only slight saving grace is that draw cycle.
A nice draw cycle.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Nothing else did it for me. Next we shot the Obsession XBR. Dylan, you didn't get to shoot the XBR, but you did get to shoot another one, right? Or did you get to shoot the XBR? Okay, so how about you start on this one?
For me, the XBR, you know, it's really stiff in the front. For me, it had a rough draw cycle. Just didn't really shoot well for me. Didn't sit well in my hand either. Now, a positive about it, it did have a pretty solid back wall. But not personally for me. I would pass on the bow, just compared to other bows that we shot. So,
Number rating.
if I had to give a number rating, I'm gonna say a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, so my XBR, my notes are like almost identical to that. Very stiff drawing. We shot the bulk of these bows at 60 pounds. And to me, that's super stiff drawing for 60. It felt more like a 70. It's got a really super big hump to drop into that valley. It did have a super nice back wall. I mean, it had a super solid back wall. I can't knock it for that. The grip just wasn't for me. You know, overall, it just wasn't there. The bow was not there for me. I'm gonna go with a 4 out of 10, and it's not something I would really tell anybody to pick up or look at.
So, again, like you guys were saying, the draw cycle was not nice. It was not comfortable. Even at 60 pounds, back wall was nice. The balance of the bow for me wasn't there. It wanted to rock. It wanted to lean. It wasn't trying to jump out of my hand on the shot cycle, but I only put one arrow through it, and I knew that it wasn't a bow that I would recommend. The fit and finishes on the bow, though, Obsession, they're some of the most customizable bows out of the manufacturer. Great customer service, great options. They had a lot of other options in bows. But the flagship level XBR, I'm actually going to be a little harsher than you guys. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.
I'll start on the... So Prime, to me, back when they brought out the dual track bows, it was a cool system. I thought they were okay and they shot fine.
Oh, the quad cams?
Yeah. Shooting the REVEX, it didn't do it for me. It's got a relatively stiff draw cycle. I'm again referring back to notes. It's got a relatively stiff draw cycle, and you know, too stiff for the poundage and speeds, like too stiff for the feel and speed it's putting out. I just don't feel like it needs to be that stiff for nothing, and it is. The back wall, it's great. Prime has always had really good back walls, and I even really liked the grip. It had a little, I could torque it a little more than some of the other grips, but their aerogel technology is very comfortable in the hand, and it did settle well once I settled in. You know, again, one of those, it almost lands in the bear category for me as being one of those bows that's not, like versus the Bear Execute 32, it's like the Prime's just not blowing me away. It's just not blowing me away. And I think it's actually a little bit lesser than the Bear counterpart. So for me, you know, a 5 out of 10. I don't think you would be wrong if you liked it and you wanted to shoot it. I don't think I would ever shoot it. So 5 out of 10.
So it had a very stiff draw for what it was putting the arrows out at. The center grip technology, the aerogel grip, all that stuff that Prime's known for, it works, it's great. I shot the inline series 2 winters ago, got a nice doe with it. This new REVEX cam is very different with their core. I think they're calling it the core cam, with new draw mods, specific draw mods. The back wall is super solid with it being a cable stop. But again, I just don't see the performance there, the shootability. I have to give it a 5 out of 10. You go first.
I thought the MTX was a super smooth drawing bow. When I shot it, it had the best back wall of anything we had shot up to that point, like bar none. It's just got such a solid back wall. It settles in nice. It's a 29-inch axle-to-axle bow, and generally speaking, I do not like anything that short. But still, the bow settles nice. It didn't feel like it wanted to torque on me. The grip, I put in my notes here that it feels a lot longer than 29, and that the grip on it is really solid. And I also put down that it's quiet. And I thought it was relatively quiet. Now, keep in mind, we're at an ATA show with people talking and stuff like that, so you can't really tell the sound. But to me, that's something that stood out. It's probably a 7 out of 10 bow, just because that short ATA still bothers me.
I don't really have anything else to add to that. I mean, it was a nice even draw cycle all the way through. Their cable stops are huge.
Yeah.
Then you really get some positive contact and feedback on that back wall. There's zero creep with that cable stop. It felt like it was a 32-inch axle-to-axle bow, maybe 33 at a 29-inch platform. But you were able to, if you added too much thumb pressure, it would go quick if you weren't conscious about it. Yeah, no, same thing. 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
They came out the gate swinging with this execute. Shot it in the 30 and 32. I think we had a video of us shooting the 32.
I believe so, yeah.
And they redid the limb pocket, they redid the pivot, they got inch-wide limbs, quarter-inch axles, this new cam system. They had this really, really unique tunable roller guard swing arm thing. I don't know what the name is. Oh, string angle. String angle of the bow is amazing. The cams, everything. The grip on the bow is phenomenal. They have a built-in level into the riser, so you can always check your second axis straight out the gate. I don't think I've ever said that I loved a Bear flagship bow. This bow is awesome. It is phenomenal. It is a shooter. It is a contender this year for every flagship level bow. Honestly, their quarter-inch axles they put in, and just their tuning process, and I got to give this bow an 8 out of 10.
The Execute 32 is a smooth drawing bow. I do like the grip. It's got a pretty solid back wall, not the most solid, but not anything to be upset about by any means. I'm trying to remember. Let me look real quick what else I threw in my notes. Oh, it's got minimal hand shock, which again, hand shock doesn't matter. I don't agree that the bow is kind of blah to me. You know, it's not the best thing in the world. It's not a bad bow by any stretch of the imagination, but it didn't blow me away. I guess if you're comparing to old bears, like, yeah, it's way better, but versus the other companies that we shot, it just kind of sits somewhere in the middle. A 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 area, maybe 6.5 out of 10.
No, I think you're actually spot on with that. Thinking it through is that I'm judging this off of old bears,
right, yeah,
and not in with the pack of everything else, because I'm putting like, oh my god, this is the best thing bears put out.
Sure. And you're not wrong. No.
But I need to look at this more objectively about, okay, now how does this match up across the board with everything that we shot? So I think I'm going to have to agree with you on the 6 or 7. The brace heights are adjustable on all gearhead bows, so that's where you can get that variance in, I guess, IBO speed.
Yeah.
The draw cycle on it was very impressive. It was the first gearhead bow that I've ever really shot. With that new pivot technology for the limb pivot, I think it really smoothed out that draw cycle. You could really... There was no like angle creep on it at all. Like through the draw cycle, it felt really steady.
Yep.
Shot was dead. It didn't feel like it wanted to jump out of my hand. So I'd give that bow an 8 out of 10. I mean, I would definitely recommend it if that's the style of bow that you want to use.
Yeah, man, Gearhead is a really cool company that makes a bow that you either love or hate, it seems like. I personally think they look super cool. I've had a lot of people tell me they're ugly. It is what it is. At the end of the day, the bows perform extremely well. You know, that's a 30-inch axle-to-axle bow, and to me it holds like a much longer axle-to-axle bow.
It really did.
I do agree there's not very much vibration on the shot. I detected a little, but I don't care about vibration. I like that feedback personally. I want to know that I'm doing the same consistent thing every time. And it's a fast bow, it's a smooth bow. And on the back end of things, Skip is just an amazing human being. Like he's such a nice guy, you know. So when you support a company like that, you're supporting a really good person. I think for me, that bow is a solid 8 out of 10 also.
This was with the new EC2 cam. It's Echo Charlie 2 cam on the Fortis 33. I love a 33-inch bow. That's just what I like. I'm a Western hunter, and having that longer ATA just really seems to help sell those longer distance shots out. When I say this bow was stupid smooth, I don't know how to impress upon that EC2 cam. Is amazing. They went through, they redesigned it, they put deeper tracks on it, and it works very, very well. Draw cycle was great, back wall was great, it held, it balanced very well. Again, another 8 out of 10.
The FORTIS, it's funny too, because we had some guys standing in line in front of us to shoot the bow that we were talking to. And they go, I don't know, that cam is just awful. It's just super, it's awful, it's rough, it's nasty. So when I got up to shoot the bow,
just throw the bow in the garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
What he said.
So when I got up to shoot the bow, I'm expecting to like tear my shoulder up. I don't know what the hell those guys were on. To be dead honest with you, that was a super smooth drawing bow. Came back like butter. It shot well. Detected very little vibration on the shot. Again, I don't care about vibration. The grips, I love PSE grips. They fit me so well. Did you
redo the back end of the FORTIS? Was it a little more square than the bow? Yeah.
I think the back end of the FORTIS grip is a little bit more squared off.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a big drop into the valley for the bow. So once you hit that hump, it drops and kind of locks in place. Some people love that, some hate it. I don't really care either way. The back wall was very solid. I'm very happy with that back wall. This is, again, an 8 out of 10 for me.
Piggybacking, you know, with new cams, it's a very smooth drawing bow. Draw cycle is phenomenal. And like very dead in the hand, like Trent said, the grips are awesome. And you know, I would highly recommend it. If you have not shot it, get out there and shoot it, because it is a great bow.
I was very impressed with the Elevate. They have a new rubberized grip that I fell in love with. There is some vibration, more so than even most of the bows we shot, you know, before. Again, I don't care about vibration, but I know some of you guys do. The draw cycle is nice and smooth. It settles in very well. The back wall is strong. The arrows, didn't have a chronograph to give you, you know, speeds, but when you shoot a bow enough, you can kind of get a sense of is it a fast bow, is it not a fast bow? And it really felt like it was slinging those arrows at a good pace. Athens is one of those little companies that just doesn't get enough looks, because they produce a fantastic product. For me, the Elevate was a 7.5 and an 8 out of 10. And I think if you have the opportunity and have a dealer close to you, you should go shoot one. You would be doing yourself a disservice not to.
So my first time ever shooting Athens bows. The first thing that stood out to me about these bows is their colors. They are crisp, they're bright, the patterns are phenomenal. Their fit and finish looks by far the best. That crushed velvet purple color was so
solid.
Like this, anyway, like, yeah. So to the bow. Again, I've never shot one before. I don't know what the draw cycles were like. I very fresh eyes ever to Athens, period. I really enjoyed the draw cycle. It had a bit of you gave it some good gas in the beginning, but it mellowed out and was nice and easy all the way to a super solid back wall with a cable stop that you can actually adjust your let off on super easily on. The cam technology was nice, wide tracks. The bow had a little bit of resonance to it, just a little bit of feedback, nothing too bad, but held great in the hand, balanced well, didn't try to kick, there was no towing, there was no trying to fall. If for a hunting platform, a 3D platform, this Elevate is a perfect bow for that. I think that, I mean, if we were able to get through a chronograph, we could do some more objectiveness with the arrow weights and all that and see what the cam efficiency is. But 8 out of 10 for me.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that is the bow I'm going to be hunting with next year. It is screaming fast. It's got a really nice draw cycle. The back wall is great. They fattened up the grip a little bit, and to me it sits even better in my hand than anything else that they've manufactured up to this point. It's, you know, there's just so much adjustability. overall, that's just a great bow. To me, the Prelude is just, it's a winner. I mean, that's a 9 out of 10. And the only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is I don't believe there's such thing as perfection when it comes to bows.
The bow feels like it's a speed bow, but it feels like you're pulling a target bow, to me. And you know, it's got the yoke system,
The E system.
Yeah,
right,
the
right,
EO6
right.
system.
That makes it for a smoother draw. You know, and like I said, I think the bow is insanely fast also. And they also have that equalizer cable system, which to me makes it feel very balanced in my hand. Like he said, it's probably going to be my next shooter for the 2023-2024 season coming up. 9 out of 10 as well.
They did some wonders with this bow. It's the 32-inch axle-to-axle bow, but it feels like it's a 34. It has a nice string angle. The draw cycle is great. Even at 70 pounds, that bow is a shooter. There's no felt vibration in that bow whatsoever with their RCM module. Again, that's going to be my bow this year. That's going to be the bow that I'm hunting with. Again, 9 out of 10.